Hello everyone, today we are going to learn Chapter 7, India's Cultural Roots from your social science text. In this video, I'll be covering each and every line from the chapter so you don't miss anything important. Make sure to keep your notebook and pen ready and take notes while watching. This will help you remember the concepts better. You can pause or rewind any time to write things down. So, let's begin. Buddhism. Other schools of thought also emerged which did not accept the authority of the Vedas and developed their own systems. One of them is Buddhism. So as time went on, other schools of thought also emerged in ancient India. These were groups of people who had different ideas about life, truth and how to live. Some of them did not accept the authority of the Vedas and they developed their own systems of thought. One of the most well-known is Buddhism. About 2.5 millennia ago, a young prince named Siddhartha Gautama was born in Lumbini, today in Nepal. Depending on the sources they use, scholars have come up with widely different conclusions as regards the precise year of his birth. In chapter 4, we chose 560 BCE as an approximate year. In any case, it makes no difference to our story here. So about 2500 years ago, a young prince named Siddhartha Gautama was born in a place called Lumbini, which is in today's Nepal. Different sources give different years for his birth, but in chapter 4, we used 560 BCE as an approximate date. But don't worry, the exact year isn't important for our story. What matters is what Siddhartha did with his life and how his journey led to the beginning of Buddhism. As the story goes, then Siddhartha Gautama grew up living a protected life in the palace. One day, at the age of 29, he asked to be driven through the city in a chariot. And for the first time in his life, he came across an old man, a sick man, and a dead body. According to the story, Siddhartha Gautama was a prince who lived a safe, comfortable and protected life. Protected life means a life where he was kept safe from all problems. He only saw happy things inside the palace. But when he was 29 years old, he went out into the city in a chariot. Chariot means a kind of carriage with horses. So when Siddhartha Gautama went into the city, for the first time in his life, he saw three things he had never seen before. An old man, a sick man, and a dead body. He also saw an ascetic who appeared to be happy and at peace. Following this experience, Siddhartha decided to give up his palace life, leaving behind his wife and son. Traveling on foot as an ascetic, meeting other ascetics and scholars, he searched for the root cause of suffering in human life. An ascetic is someone who engages in a rigorous discipline to attain a higher consciousness. So, who is an ascetic? An ascetic is a person who gives up all comforts like nice clothes, tasty food or a soft bed and lives a very simple and strict life. They do this to understand deep truths or to find peace and wisdom. So, on his way, Siddhartha also saw an ascetic. Who is an ascetic? A holy man who had left behind all comforts and living a simple life. Even without wealth, the ascetic looked peaceful and happy. After seeing this, Siddhartha decided to leave his palace, his wife and his son. He walked from place to place, living like an ascetic, meeting other holy men and wise people. He was trying to find out why people suffer in life. Suffering means feeling pain, sadness or having a hard time. After meditating for many days under a peepal tree at Bodh Gaya, today in Bihar, he attained enlightenment. He realized that avidya, ignorance and attachment are the source of human suffering and conceived a method to remove these two causes. What is meditation? Meditation is a way to calm your busy mind. When you meditate, you sit quietly and try to stop your thoughts from jumping around so much. This helps you feel peaceful and calm inside. So Siddhartha Gautama meditated under a peepal tree at a place called Bodh Gaya, which is in today's Bihar. And it was there that he became enlightened and understood many important truths about life. Because of this, the peepal tree is sometimes called the Bodhi tree. What is enlightenment? Enlightenment means understanding the deep truth about life. When someone reaches enlightenment, they understand why people suffer, how to stop suffering, how to live a peaceful and happy life. So after his enlightenment, Buddha taught others how to find peace and end suffering. He realized that the main reasons people suffer are avidya. Avidya, a Sanskrit word meaning ignorance or not knowing or understanding the truth. For example, we may think that money or fame will always make us happy, but that's not always true. The Buddha said that ignorance is one reason why people suffer. And the other one is attachment, getting too emotionally attached to people or things. When you really care about someone or something and don't want to lose them, that's attachment. For example, if you lose your favorite toy and feel sad for many days, that's attachment. If you are always afraid of losing something, that can cause suffering. The Buddha taught that letting go of too much attachment helps us find peace. He then found a way to remove these causes and help people live a peaceful life. So what is attachment? The condition of having a bond with someone or something, usually through sentiment or habit. Siddhartha then became known as the Buddha, which means the enlightened or awakened one. So Siddhartha was later called the Buddha. The word Buddha means the one who is enlightened or the one who has awakened. This means he had understood the true meaning of life and how to be free from suffering. The Buddha started teaching what he had realized, including the idea of ahimsa, which is generally translated as non-violence but originally means non-hurting or non-injuring. He also insisted on a sincere inner discipline. The following saying of his expresses this simply. The Buddha began teaching the important things he had learned. One of them was ahimsa, which we generally translate to non-violence, but it actually means not hurting or injuring any living. He also believed that people should have sincere inner discipline, which means truly trying to be a good person, controlling your thoughts, words, and actions, doing the right thing even when no one is watching, being honest, kind, and calm from the inside, not just pretending. The Buddha believed that real goodness starts inside the heart and mind, not just in what we show others. Here is a simple saying of his that explains this idea. Not by water is one made pure, though many people may bathe here in sacred rivers, but one is pure in whom truth and dharma reside. Conquering oneself is greater than conquering 1,000 men on the battlefield 1,000 times. This saying means bathing in water, even in holy rivers, does not make a person truly pure or good. What really makes someone pure is having truthfulness, that is being honest, and dharma, that is doing what is right in their heart. It also says controlling yourself, your thoughts, feelings, and actions is much harder and more important than winning many battles 1,000 times against others. So the biggest victory is to win over yourself and be a better and kinder person. The Buddha founded the sangha, a community of bhikshus or monks, and later bhikshunis or nuns, who dedicated themselves to practicing and spreading his teachings. His influence on India and indeed the whole of Asia was enormous, as we will discover later. It is still perceptible today. Monk, a man who, giving up the usual life in the world, dedicates himself to religious or spiritual pursuits. A monk usually takes vows, that is, commits himself to follow strict rules for a disciplined life. So who is a monk? A monk is a man who leaves behind the normal life of work, family, and everyday things to focus on religious or spiritual life. He usually promises to follow special rules to live a simple and disciplined life. This helps him learn more about peace, kindness, and understanding. Nun, the female equivalent of a monk. So a nun is a woman who, like a monk, gives up regular life to focus on a religious or spiritual life. So the Buddha started the sangha. Sangha, a group or community of people who follow the Buddha's path. It first had monks called bhikshus, and later it also had nuns. called bhikshunis. These were people who left their homes to follow the Buddha's teachings. They spent their lives learning, meditating, and teaching others. The Buddha's teachings had a big impact on India and many countries in Asia. Perceptible means that something can be seen, heard, or noticed. The Buddha's influence is still perceptible. That is, still we can see Buddha's influence in art, temples, and people's beliefs. Even today, people still follow his ideas and remember what he taught. Here we have a picture of Buddha teaching his followers. This stone panel, some 1800 years old, shows the Buddha teaching. Let's explore. Discuss the way the Buddha is depicted in the above panel. In this stone panel, the Buddha is standing while teaching. The other people around him are looking at him respectfully with their hands joined together. Joining hands like this is a way to show respect. And they are listening carefully. This picture shows how people admired the Buddha and wanted to learn from him. Can you name some states of India or some other countries where Buddhism is a major religion even today? Try to plot this on a world map. In India, states with significant Buddhist populations or heritage are Maharashtra, West Bengal, Madhya Pradesh, Uttar Pradesh, Sikkim, Arunachal Pradesh, Tripura, and Ladakh. Buddhism started in India, but today it's followed in many parts of Asia. Other countries where Buddhism is a major religion are Cambodia, Thailand, Myanmar, which is also called Burma, Bhutan, Sri Lanka, Laos, Mongolia, Japan, Vietnam, China, South Korea, Malaysia, and Nepal. Many stories from the Upanishads tell us the importance of asking questions, whether these questions come from men, women, or children. So many stories in the Upanishads teach us that asking questions is very important. It doesn't matter if the questions come from men, women, or children. Asking questions helps us learn and understand more about life. So now, let's find out how asking questions can lead to great wisdom through these short stories from the Upanishads. Śvetaketu and the Seed of Reality from Chāndogya Upanishad. Śvetaketu and the Seed of Reality is the story about a boy named Śvetaketu and an important lesson about the seed of reality. That is, the hidden truth or the real essence of everything. It is a story from Chāndogya Upanishad. Rishi Uddalaka Aruni sent his son Śvetaketu to a Gurukul to learn the Vedas. When Śvetaketu returned 12 years later, his father realized he had become very proud of his learning. So Uddalaka tested him with questions on the nature of Brahman, which Śvetaketu could not answer. Rishi Uddalaka Aruni sent his son Śvetaketu to a Gurukul, a traditional school, to learn the Vedas, that is, ancient sacred text. After 12 years, Śvetaketu came back, but his father noticed that he had become a little proud about all that he had learned. So Uddalaka decided to ask Śvetaketu some important questions about the true nature of Brahman, the ultimate reality or truth. Śvetaketu couldn't answer these questions, which showed that learning from books is not enough to understand the deepest truths. Uddalaka proceeded to explain how Brahman, though invisible, is everywhere, just as the seed of a banyan fruit seems empty when you open it, but already contains the future banyan tree, or just as all kinds of different pots can be made out of the same clay. Similarly, everything around us has emerged from the same essence, Brahman. He concluded his teaching with these words: everything consists of this subtle essence. You are that Śvetaketu. So Uddalaka explained to his son Śvetaketu that Brahman is the true reality. It cannot be seen or touched, but it is everywhere in all things and all people. To help Śvetaketu understand this big idea, Uddalaka gave him a simple example. Have you seen a banyan tree? It's big and wide with lots of roots hanging down. And this is its fruit. It's not very big, but inside the fruit are tiny seeds. If you open a banyan seed, it looks empty. There is nothing you can really see inside. Even though it looks empty, inside this tiny seed is the whole future banyan tree. Can you believe such a big tree comes from such a tiny seed? That's what Brahman is like. You can't see it, but it is there in everything. Just like the big tree is hidden inside a tiny seed. Uddalaka gave another simple example to help Śvetaketu understand Brahman. Look at these pots. They are all different shapes and sizes. Some are big, some are small, some are round. But all of them are made from the same clay. Just like that, everything in the world may look different. People, animals, trees, rivers, stars. But they all come from the same essence, and that essence is Brahman. This means everything around us is connected. You, me, the sky, the earth, all are part of one invisible, subtle reality called Brahman. And finally, Uddalaka looked at his son and said, "You are that Śvetaketu." This means you too are Brahman. The same truth that is in the whole universe is also inside you. Isn't that amazing? Even though we are all different, we are all made from the same deep truth, Brahman. Next story is Nachiketa and his quest from Katha Upanishad. Once a man was giving away all his possessions in a ritual. As his son Nachiketa kept asking him which god he would be offered to. The father became angry and answered, "I give you to Yama, that is, to the god of death." Once there was a man who was giving away all his things in a special ceremony. His son Nachiketa was watching closely and kept asking, "Father, to which god will you offer me?" This question made his father upset. In anger, he said, "I give you to Yama, who is the god of death." Nachiketa then proceeded to Yama's world and after a long wait met the mighty god. One question was on his mind. What happens after the death of the body? Yama tried to avoid answering, but the boy persisted. Pleased Yama explained that the ātman or self is hidden within all creatures. So after hearing his father's answer, Nachiketa went to the world of Yama, the god of death. After waiting for a long time, he finally met Yama. Nachiketa had one big question in his heart. What happens after the body dies? Yama didn't want to answer at first and tried to avoid the question. But Nachiketa didn't give up. He kept asking because he really wanted to know the truth. Seeing the boy's courage and determination, Yama was pleased. He explained that inside every living thing there is a true self called the ātman. It is neither born nor does it die. It is immortal. Having acquired this profound knowledge, Nachiketa returned to his father, who welcomed him joyfully. Yama told Nachiketa that the ātman, the self or soul, is very special. It is not born or it does not die. This means it is immortal or it lives forever. After learning this important truth, Nachiketa went back to his father, who was very happy to see him. This means that inside every living being, there is something called the ātman or soul. The special thing about the ātman is that it never dies and was never born. It lasts forever. So even though our body might grow old and die, this inner self or soul continues to live on. This idea teaches us that life doesn't end with the body. There is something deeper and eternal inside us. Eternal means lasting forever. Next story is the debate of Gargi and Yājñavalkya from Bṛhadāraṇyaka Upanishad. Once the wise Janaka announced a prize for the winner of a philosophical debate. Yājñavalkya, a renowned rishi, came to the king's court and defeated many scholars until Gargi, a rishika, asked him a series of questions on the nature of the world and finally on the nature of Brahman. Once, The wise king Janaka announced a prize for anyone who could win a big philosophical debate at his court. Many scholars and teachers came to the king's court to take part. One of them was the most famous Yājñavalkya, a wise rishi known for his deep knowledge. Yājñavalkya spoke so well that he defeated many scholars one by one. But then a brave and clever woman named Gargi, who was also a rishika, that is a female sage, stepped forward. She asked Yājñavalkya many tough questions about the nature of the world. And finally, she questioned him about the true nature of Brahman, that is the ultimate reality. At that point, Yājñavalkya asked her to stop asking further questions. Later, however, Gargi resumed her questions and Yājñavalkya went on to explain how Brahman is what makes the world, the seasons, the rivers and everything else possible. When Gargi kept asking difficult questions, Yājñavalkya first told her to stop because the questions were very deep and hard to answer. But later, Gargi continued asking questions, showing she really wanted to learn. Yājñavalkya then explained patiently that Brahman is the true power that creates the whole world. It makes the seasons change, the rivers flow and everything else happen. This means that Brahman is the invisible force of power behind everything in the world. Even though we can't see Brahman directly, it is the reason everything happens and everything is connected. So Brahman is like the energy or power that keeps the whole world going. These stories teaches us that asking questions, even the biggest and toughest ones, is a way to discover truth and grow wiser. And that anyone, man, woman, young or old, can be a great seeker of knowledge. So with this, we have completed part 2 of the chapter India's Cultural Roots. I hope you found it easy to understand. If you want to see more videos like this, don't forget to like, share and subscribe to our channel. Thanks for watching. We will see you again in our next video. Bye bye.